Um, and so what ended up happening was on Monday, right? I think, Mom, we were talking about not your mission statement. I gave you homework. I gave you homework, and your biggest thing was transitioning from how do you have moved from the mindset of ministry into business, right? How do you move, right? And so we started talking about it on Monday, and in that moment, she's like, "Oh, I got it. Okay, you really just explained that. You explained it all the way out, right?" And she said those are her words, right? And I'm paraphrasing because not exactly her words, but her words. So I'm like, good, she got it, right? So we show up on a call today, and she's like, well, I really don't know how do I get from the ministry mindset to business mindset. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, we talked about it on Monday. So what happened to my mom, or what happened within my mom, it's not new or isolated. It is something we all deal with, and it is very similar to going to church on Sunday and we hear an amazing word. We get it. It fills us up in that moment. It answers our questions and our solutions. And then on Monday, it's like, you don't even think about it because it's no longer even there, and you're back in the same problem that you originally were in. Not even back in, you're still in, and you're not working toward your way out because you have not applied, right? And so so we go to well, I went to, when that happened, we went to the conversation of the soil, right? We're talking about the soil. And then I went to go back because I hadn't read that one in a while. And it's not soil. I don't know. Y'all may have known this, y'all know this, but it's actually not soil that they talk about. It's actually just simple ground. It's just ground. What type of ground? And it's talking about the ability to, a lot of people will talk about the ability to receive, but it's not actually talking about the ability to receive, right? Because when we read that, right, and what I'm speaking of is Matthew 13, because I pulled it up and I'll read from the Message. It's not even talking about your ability to receive at this point. Okay, so let me read it real quick so we have some reference of what I'm talking about. And I'm just going to start at 3. Uh, Jesus, and this is Jesus. He's given a parable. He's given a parable. Okay, so what do you make of this? A farmer planted seed. As he scattered the seed, some of it fell on the road, and birds ate it. Some fell on the gravel. It sprouted quickly, but didn't put down roots. So when the sun came out, it withered just as quickly. Some fell in weeds as it came up. It was strangled by the weeds. Some fell on good earth and produced a harvest beyond his wildest dreams. Okay. Um, and then verse 9 says, are you listening? Are you listening to this? Really listening? All right. And so it doesn't talk about receiving, because the planter gave it and it landed, right? So it's not your ability in this moment, it's not your ability to receive because you got it, but it's how you processed it and you incorporated it in your life. And based on your ability on how you handle within your environment, how your mindset is, how you are able to come out of your emotion of hearing to actually put in practical steps on how to move forward. Because I don't know if you know, majority of the churches that teach a good word, they give practical steps of how to apply spiritual strategies. Okay, so thank
Applications,
you. Application,
applications.
yes, they give that, right? So again, it's not about necessarily not about the soil or the receiving, should I say. It's not about the receiving, because he threw it and it landed. Okay. Um, but So when it landed on the road, it's nothing there. So birds just came, picked it up, boom. When it landed in gravel, it's shallow. It didn't have much to grab. So that means you're able to receive it in such a way where I can walk home with this and maybe even think about it on Monday. But on Tuesday, if you get on my nerves just on the right point, forget everything that I just learned. And then some people are in such a toxic environment so that when it landed, it's very possible there's good soil under there. It's very possible there's good soil under there. But because of the weeds that surround it, it choked out whatever did grow. And then, of course, there's good ground where you're there. You put aside your emotions. You put aside everything that's going on around you. And when it landed, it was able to plant. It was able to create roots. And then, and then grow up to where nothing can take it away except the farmer ready to harvest it, and until it's ready for harvest. Okay. So one of the things I want to point out now, I want to get to the practical side of things. And Mom, I'm still going to use you as an example. So what was happening in the moment on Monday was, here's an analogy. Here's a good one. Have you ever seen a baby who was so hungry that the moment they saw the bottle, their hands just start going like this, and you can't get the bottle to their mouth? Their hand just going. So they're so happy because their problem was that they were hungry, and maybe they've been hungry for a little bit because you had to make the bottle. So the moment the baby identified the bottle, oh, help is here, they were so hungry that they were swatting, trying to get the bottle, that it couldn't control their emotions enough to grab the bottle and just take and feed and fill itself up properly, right? And so what happens to a lot of us is the moment we get an answer to the dry areas in our life, we're so excited to see the solution that we forget to receive and take in and process the solution. And so what we have to do is we have to learn to not, when we see solution, we have to learn to identify the solution without having the emotion that comes behind it. Identify the emotion, right? We identify the emotion like, oh my God, I am so happy. I'm excited. This is what I've been looking for. But sometimes it's like, oh my God, this is it. This is what I've been looking for. And then if we don't get it, we just walk away. And so I think that's what happens to a lot of us, that the things that we've been looking for is so dry. It's so dry that the moment it comes, we don't know how to actually really receive the things that we've been asking for. Okay. And so that's what I wrote down. So being able to learn to hear without emotion. And that can also go negatively. Sometimes we can hear the solution, but we can receive it in a negative way. We can receive it because, okay, oh man, that sounds easy to do, but how dare you sit here and tell me that, I should be able to do this, or they identified that it was that easy, but because of pride, it's like, no, because I don't want it to be that easy. The solution shouldn't be that easy. I'm walking away and staying where I'm at anyway. Right? So we have to learn to hear without the emotion. Emotion, it can take us in so many directions instead of where we're supposed to be going. All right. All right. So I feel like y'all understand where I'm at when I talk about, being able to receive. And so when we're here on the call or wherever we are, when somebody is giving us something or a solution that we need, remind yourself to hear. And if you are the type of person that needs to, hey, stop, let me record you real quick because you've given me something. And this is good when somebody is prophesying, that is connecting. right? Because prophesying is supposed to be able to you're supposed to be like, oh, I confirm with what you're saying, because don't let nobody tell you nothing that God ain't already done told you. Okay. So even when it's when someone is prophesying over you, go ahead and say, hold on, stop, because I'm going to need to listen right now. I can't, I am so emotional that, and this is so good and I need this. Let me record you so I can be present in the moment right now and receive what God has for me. Or if you're the type of person that needs to write it down. Okay. So these are practical things that you can take. So even if you need to be in the moment, even if you need to be in the moment, but have something tangible so that you can walk away and later on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and on repeat, you can actually apply whatever is being said to your life, to your business. Okay. Um, but yeah, that's it. I do want to encourage you guys to actually tonight, read chapter 13. In here it's called like the harvest story, but really it talks about your ability to hear. It talks about your readiness. Are you really ready to hear the things that you have been asking for? That is what chapter 13 talks about. And I think it is really, really, really applicable to your business and how you're moving forward in your business. Because at the end of the day, God is still the pilot of your business and you have to be able to hear. So if you all are sitting here and I'm the person, if I'm the messenger, you have to be able to hear me and hear the things that I'm giving to you, because there are a lot of times where I'm not just talking about business. God might tell me to tell you something. And if you're not ready to hear, it's no point in being here. That's at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Raven.